Horizon Zero Dawn is about an independent red-headed woman who's good with machines and explores a ruined world destroyed by robots 1,000 years ago. No, wait, sorry. I was describing Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Horizon Zero Dawn is about an independent red-headed woman who's good with machines and explores a ruined world destroyed by robots 1,000 years ago. Geez, Sony. Even Disney knew to change the hair color of the protagonist from the classic Japanese animation they were ripping off. This game has one of the most forgettable marketing titles in recent years. I had to Google it every time I tried to think of it prior to launch. This console game is pretty enough to make even a jaded PC snob like myself admit it's one of the best looking games I've ever played.
Wear this. It belonged to my daughter.
They couldn't wait one scene before they front-loaded Ross with a tragic backstory.
Today, I speak your name, girl. Normally, it would be the mother who declares, if you had one.
And they don't even wait for Aloy to be old enough to talk before she gets some front-loaded family baggage as well.
We are outcasts. Even so, we keep the tribe's rituals. Otherwise, we might become like the faithless old ones who turned their backs on the goddess.
Exposition is still exposition even when it looks this pretty. This is a great shot, but if I were carrying an infant, I would go around rather than walk through a field of robots that might kill me at any moment.
It is one thing to hunt a beast, another to hunt a machine. I will teach you this. One day.
One provides food that keeps you alive, the other doesn't and comes equipped with ranged weaponry. Who climbs a mountain with a baby strapped to their back? Do all the parents of this tribe do this? There has to be a better way. I didn't think that I would get to make a reference to the Lion King twice in this video, but sometimes these things go in ways you just don't expect them to.
Speak her name!
Aloy!
From this day forward, your name will remind people of hand lotion.
I'm here. And wherever you go, I will follow.
And with that line, Ross places his death flag on the flagpole for its first act journey to the top. Both Aloy and Ross are outcasts, people shunned by the Nora tribe and forced to live in the wild. However, no one will ever tell Aloy why she was born an outcast, and there is really no reason to withhold the truth. They just do it to be dicks. It's never reassuring when the main character has to fall into the plot. This head over heels tumble down the slope would at the very least break a few bones. But this fall from this height onto the cave floor would have surely killed Aloy. Sure, we're meant to think her fall was softened by water, but that water is an inch deep. Get used to this blue lead-lit cave now, because you will be seeing a lot of it later. The focus on this corpse still works perfectly after 1,000 years. This technology comes from the year 2060, so in just a few decades we will have unlimited energy according to this game.
Happy birthday, Isaac! Daddy sure does love his little big man.
Somehow a focus, which is a device worn over your ear, is capable of altering your vision to show augmented reality info that only the user can see, and it does this without anything over the user's eyes.
Show me. Show me again.
I can do. He's right behind you. Hi!
My heart, it still beats.
Give it to me.
No.
Aloy, such things are dangerous.
No!
Even people living like savages are easily seduced and distracted by smartphone technology.
Bow?
The people of this world no longer read or write English, so Aloy reading the description her focus spells out on her bow is bullshit. Look, surrogate father, it's the next Assassin's Creed main character in training.
Its hide is thick, but there are spots where it is vulnerable.
Rather than hunting robots for scrap metal that you can't even trade since you're an outcast, how about hunting something you can actually eat? The people of the past lost a war against machines and they were using modern weapons, yet Aloy can take down robot dinosaurs with a 40-pound bow.
It's only a matter of time before the machines find that boy and kick him to death. But if I shoot, it'll cause a stampede.
He's by the cliff wall. If robot horses stampede anything like real horses, they wouldn't stampede toward a rock face.
How do you know to avoid them? How are you doing this? How is this possible?
Teb is amazed by Aloy's ability to hide in bushes and move when watchers are looking the other way. After saying it was impossible for him to rescue Teb, Ross appears on the other side of the valley not far from where Teb fell down to help him and Aloy back up. There was no need for Aloy to put herself in danger if Ross could have done this.
The Proving. The tribe's rite of passage held every year. Those who pass become braves. But to the one who wins, the matriarchs grant a boon.
But why would the tribe even allow an outcast to participate in the Proving? People from the tribe are not even allowed to speak or trade with outcasts. It seems like a massive loophole in the tribal law.
Then I'll do it. Whatever it takes.
Looks like we're going to need a training montage and a time skip. Looks like the guy who paints climbable ledges with white paint is still around 1,000 years in the future, and he's switched to using yellow rope. Though I have to wonder why he's not dangling the rope down so you can climb up that instead of tying it to the struts. His hand moves in mysterious ways.
For your sake, I must go where you will never find me.
And yet, Ross will show up later at the perfect moment to save Aloy with no explanation as how he knew to come back.
Else would I be? Come on now. I've been waiting for this day a long time.
You have?
Oh, yes. But for the moment, I must leave you. I have other outsiders to keep safe tonight.
You just said you've been waiting a long time for this moment. Then you leave Aloy in the middle of a village full of people who hate her to take care of other people.
Is Aloy, isn't it? I'm remembering your name correctly?
She actually never mentioned her name back then.
In preparation for this day, I've made an outfit for you. I hope you like it.
How did you get her measurements? Last time you saw her, she was a kid.
Nora Faithful, hold your fruit. Now I'm Azaram, not Karja, so I'll put it to you straight. The 13th Sun King was a murderous bung. Oh, he was. Who killed him? The 14th.
Aaron wins over the angry mob of Nora by agreeing with him that the old Sun King was a dick and telling them that his son is like the coolest Sun King ever. Focuses were essentially the smartwatch of the ancient civilization, so they would have been pretty common back then. Yet Aloy's focus acts up when it detects another person wearing one. Just imagine your watch alerting you every time it detects another Apple Watch nearby.
When we spoke earlier, you winced, then looked like you were in pain. Or frightened. Did your focus show you something?
It didn't show me anything. I told you. It malfunctioned. Happens all the time.
Mine's never malfunctioned, and I've had it since I was a child.
Well, one example makes for a pretty small sample size. Just because your focus has never malfunctioned doesn't mean it's impossible. A focus is a 1,000-year-old smartwatch after all.
Don't understand. We have this device in common, but you can't wait to stop talking to me.
That's the exact same response I get from my coworkers when I stop them mid-sentence from describing the features of the iPhone they just bought.
That's chuff.
That's chuffest.
This is the bed house? With you standing guard, I figured it was the latrine.
You're very present here.
It doesn't matter how good your put down is if you run away or quickly close the door on the person before they can respond.
Well, well. Look who's come in from the wild. The motherless outcast.
I've seen this exact same character in every instance of a plot where someone is being prejudiced against. There's always the blonde asshole with a chip on his shoulder who starts a conversation with, well, look who we have here.
You'll be the one surprised tomorrow, outcast. Not me.
Oh, are you gonna shut your mouth? Because that would be a surprise.
There's that famous Ashley Birch voice acting. Feels like I'm playing Life is Strange all over again. Hi, I'll be your soon-to-be dead new friend, so better get what development that I can so someone somewhere can have a feel over my death. So after years of training in order to win the proving, the super difficult rite of passage that Nora Braves undergo, it turns out to be simply shooting one robot deer then running along a short mountain pass to a finish line. The only thing that makes this even remotely difficult is the examiners trying to sabotage Aloy.
But it is Aloy. Once outcast, and now brave. Who is first among us?
Shocking and sudden death is shocking and sudden, but I'm more curious how the examiner didn't see the cultist standing on the hill behind Aloy. She was looking in that direction after all. Why the hell didn't they start with a machine gun instead of the arrows? I'm not sure what Boss hoped to accomplish by running out into the line of fire after witnessing Vala be killed, but I'm just glad that he's dead so we won't have to be subjected to his character trope any further.
The red hair dies now! Everyone, forward!
Aloy is your target. You should have focused on her since the attack started. Instead, you killed everyone else. You even gave away the element of surprise by shooting the examiner first, and Aloy was standing in front of the examiner. Hellas survives this. That's an arrow right through center mass. Look who just showed up in time for his death flag to reach the top of the flagpole.
Burn it all, then to your task.
Is there any reason to set off a bomb here to kill Aloy when you could just walk over and slit her throat? I mean, that's what your plan started with, so this seems like a downgrade in efficient murder. I'm going to save your life by tossing you over the cliff that the cult leader was about to throw you over before I stopped him. Aloy survives this. Not content with expecting us to swallow the bullshit of Aloy surviving that fall, they flash back to the earlier fall she had as a kid that also should have killed her. All of the attackers were wearing focuses like Aloy and Olin's, and they learned about Aloy because Olin is working with him and they could see her through his focus. And then for some reason, the focus Aloy took off an attacker starts playing a hologram from over 1,000 years ago that no cultist would have access to. And the person in that hologram looks suspiciously like Aloy. This is the game being a bit too convenient with a lot of information, just to set Aloy on the right path to find out who attacked them and who this woman who looks just like her is.
Does my mother look like me, but with short hair?
I don't see how that could be. You were not born of a woman, Aloy. The mountain is your mother.
Virgin birth cliché.
You mean I came from behind the door?
Always, that is what I have believed. That you came from the womb of the mountain. A gift from All-Mother herself. But others, like Lansra, feared that a darker power put you here.
Based on what? This is your holy ground. Why would Lansra believe Aloy had been put there of all places by something evil and therefore require Aloy to be labeled an outcast? Aloy has all the makings of a messiah figure.
All-Mother spoke to you, as if she knew you.
Were you not listening? It didn't recognize me.
Because of corruption. The goddess's own words. Surely, if you heal this corruption, she will see you clearly.
Without any idea what DNA or even data corruption is, Aloy should have zero chance to ever finding a way to open this door to where she was born.
After the massacre at the Proving, a great war party was sent after the killers. Less than half survived.
How was the war party defeated?
The killers do not fight alone. Somehow they have a power over the machines, corrupting them, driving them mad.
And yet they didn't attack the Proving using any of their enslaved machines. I also didn't expect to be making another Studio Ghibli movie scene in this video, but when you rip off the curse from Princess Mononoke, you kinda forced my hand. Other than the color, these corruption tendrils are the exact same thing.
You made them obey you. How? This. You did it with this.
This is a machine you've never encountered before and you decide this random chunk of metal is what allows corruptors to take over wild machines? And it was clearly the spinning thing on top that spat out the corruption onto the robots.
It's connecting to my focus.
How is sticking that thing to your spear supposed to let you take control of machines by touching them with it? And why do you have to touch them? The corruptors can do it from a distance. And how would your focus be reacting to this? Corruption is something that didn't exist back when focuses were made.
War Chief Sona sent me back to report.
So she sent you back to the site where the war party was ambushed and wiped out. Who was she expecting you to report to? It may be a robot giraffe with a radar dish for a head, but it's still a radio tower that reveals the map once you climb it. Why would a robot ever growl? This game has taken a lot of liberties with how much damage a bow can do. A 40-pound bow is not going to fire an arrow with enough force to knock a several-ton robotic saber-toothed tiger over like that.
Over the past month, accidental blaze explosions have killed a dozen men. Here in the Ring of Metal, I've taken the precaution of placing our entire stockpile in a covered shelter.
All of these cultists wear focuses which let them communicate directly, so there was no need to leave an audio log at the camp detailing where all of your explosives were stored when you could have just radioed it in. Now the Braves know where to strike and do precisely that.
I know Erend. Summon him. I need to speak to him.
Ha! I doubt that Aaron, the new captain of the Vanguard, a man in grief, is going to waste his time on a grimy outlander.
Aloy!
With the words of power spoken, Aaron then appears to prove that the power of convenience trumps logic.
I heard what happened to Ursa. I'm sorry.
You'll find that the majority of characters in this game have a recently dead friend or family member that they bring up in conversations. Often that's the focus of their mission.
Why is it every time something terrible happens, everyone else tells you the worst thing that ever happened to them, as though that makes it easier?
Everyone in this game has dead family. I'm pretty sure bonding over it is part of the culture.
Oh, that was subtle.
He's breaking and entering for you. Stop being so pissy. Augmented reality investigations continue to be a plague on modern games. The secret hatch is set into the floor by several inches, yet somehow the rug was flush with the rest of the floor while covering it. Is there any reason for Olin to have a huge hole in his ceiling right over his hidden cellar door, and have a pallet of iron right next to the hole that can smash through his otherwise unbreakable hatch? Aloy doesn't even give Aaron a warning before dropping the iron ingots on the hatch he was standing right next to.
A map. The glyphs show places he visited.
Has Olin never heard of a paper map in ink? That's a huge wooden map with nails the size of railroad spikes marking dig sites. That would have taken some effort.
How did you learn to read glyphs? And these things that you see, how do you do it?
Why would a 1,000-year-old piece of tech be capable of reading a language that didn't exist when it was made?
If that device lets you see the unseen, I'm asking you to help me, Aloy. I need to know who killed Ursa.
Not content with one character being pushed forward because of dead family, they added a sidekick with the same deal.
What are you doing out here all alone? Where are your men?
I'm not gonna risk their lives. I don't mind putting my worthless ass on the line.
You're the captain of the city guard. You can take some men with you to investigate. They would have had to go to the same place you're headed to now to retrieve the body after all. Aloy's focus is not needed for this investigation. The human eye can easily detect large bloodstains and cart tracks leading away from the crime scene. I'm actually surprised Aaron's men missed these details.
I checked Ursa's tomb. You were right, Aloy. The body is missing a scar below her right knee. I gave it to Ursa when we were kids, fighting over a toy sword.
Unless you tried to kneecap your sister when you were kids, I'm at a loss as to how you gave her a scar there.
Ursa has an enemy among the Oseram. A warlord named Dervahl.
Impossible. Every clan in the claim has been hunting for him since the liberation. He has to be dead by now.
If every clan was hunting Dervahl, then there would likely have been word of his death had any of them killed him.
I expect to find him lurking somewhere near the border. I've already sent an agent to investigate.
Seems like Dervahl was pretty easy to find. Strange that no one has found him these past few years.
I think he drew a map with his own blood.
Blood map cliché.
My men are waiting outside of town. I'll grab them and meet you there.
What happened to not wanting to put your men in danger?
Dervahl says you gotta eat dirt.
I think you may have misunderstood that order. Dervahl didn't mean it literally as in making Aloy eat dirt. He meant kill her. So next time try aiming your rocket at her instead of at the ceiling so that dust gets blown in her face.
They must use these to protect themselves from that awful sound.
We call it the chain smokers.
I got a message from Dervahl saying he wanted to parlay. I didn't come for you because I knew it was a trap.
That doesn't mean you had to walk right into it. Ursa survived just long enough to warn them that Dervahl is going to attack Meridian. Why did Dervahl even kidnap Aaron's sister if he was going to destroy Meridian and take his vengeance then? It's not as if she was vital to his plan. He lured her out, kidnapped and tortured her while revealing his plans, then left to enact it while she was still alive. Sure is windy down here in this cellar. That door was boarded up and Aaron still kicked right through it.
If that bomb downstairs goes off, it'll be just what Dervahl promised. smoke will darken the sun as the city goes up in flames.
Will it though? This is only a few barrels of explosives. You blew up a bigger cache of the same stuff earlier when hunting the eclipse, and that explosion wasn't anywhere near big enough to destroy a city. Dervahl placed his bomb right next to a door that opens into a drop right off the mesa with which to dispose of the bomb. You just dropped that bomb into a section of the city beneath the mesa, you crazy bitch. People live down there.
You robbed me of my right to kill your father, so I'll have to settle for you. I'm going to enjoy watching the Karja burn.
Dervahl's beef with the Sun King Avad is that Avad already killed his own father, the old Sun King who killed Dervahl's family in a raid. That's pretty much it. He wants to destroy the city because his murder boner has been erect for over 3 years.
Something's wrong. It didn't? I didn't hear anything.
How did you not hear your bomb go off prematurely a minute ago? This is only a short distance from the warehouse. And with that, he runs off without killing the Sun King. Villains do that a lot in this game.
Bomb or no bomb, I'm gonna splatter that throne with blood. First yours, then Avad's.
Well, you could have already done that. Well, that was a profound waste of time that should have been a side quest.
This is what you intend. To bring these ancient things back to life.
And you already know this. Hell, one has already talked to you at this point.
Forgive this intrusion, Aloy. You left me no choice.
Who is this?
An interested party. Now their focuses are disabled, but I don't know for how long.
I wish devs would give up trying to trick everyone into not suspecting Lance Reddick of being a villain no matter how much assistance he offers. Guy is always going to be Black Willem Dafoe.
Their devil is real. It has a name, a voice, the most terrible voice, and they do its bidding.
You say this devil, the Eclipse worship, has a name?
Hades. That's what they call it.
It would appear that every major religion that existed prior to the end of civilization died out, but Greek mythology is still going strong.
But be wary. Maker's End is crawling with Eclipse troops. To help you deal with them, I've left some useful equipment just outside the ruins.
Somehow I managed to race you to that location after hearing Olin tell you it's where he saw the hologram of the woman who looks just like you, leave supplies there, then leave.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
That's what happens when you ask Siri to search for Android phones. I guess Samsung was the manufacturer of focuses. The genetic registry is still corrupted. That's why the door back of the mountain wouldn't open for Aloy. Yet this one does, despite the holographic still showing a corrupted registry. We've created this huge and beautiful open world for our game to take place in that's full of robot dinosaurs to fight. Let's stick the player in one empty cave after another and have them listen to audio logs and watch holograms for the last act of the game.
There's a glitch in the chariot line.
You're killer robots?
Peacekeepers, yes.
It's impressive that this server containing 3 zettabytes of data knew to pull up these 3 plot-relevant holo recordings without being asked for them instead of something banal like quarterly earnings meetings.
It's apocalyptic. You built a line of killer robots.
Peacekeepers.
That consume biomass as fuel.
In emergencies.
And you made them capable of self-replication.
That was such a bad idea that I'm pretty certain even Cyberdyne Systems and the company that made the Matrix robots would be like, dude, what the hell were you thinking? I mean, all we did was hand the nuclear codes over to robots and turn people into batteries. But what you did is just kind of fucking stupid.
Project Zero Dawn.
We have a title.
In 15 minutes, I meet with General Harris and the rest of the Joint Chiefs.
What? Are you crazy?
Now your choice is what I tell them. Sign, and I'll tell them the wealthiest corporation on Earth has guaranteed the funds necessary to build Zero Dawn. Exactly as I've designed it. Or don't sign, and I will make sure they and everyone else on this planet knows the real cause of the glitch.
I don't believe the Joint Chiefs would be that thrilled to learn that the guy who built the robots that were destroying Earth was also the one funding the way to save it. Also, how would they not already know who built the Pharaoh robots? They all have the Pharaoh Industries logo right there on them.
I'll sign.
None of the details of Project Zero Dawn were discussed in the meeting room of Pharaoh Industries. That seems unlikely considering this is the company headquarters.
You have a face. Got a name to go with it?
Of all the questions you could ask right now, that's the one you choose.
Establishing a name is usually the first step in a conversation.
Spent decades searching the ruins of the old ones, trying to solve the mystery of what happened to them. For years, I've suspected that Pharaoh robots destroyed their civilization, but I could never confirm it. And in minutes, you uncover more ancient knowledge than I have in a lifetime, and what you want to know is my name. Silence. That's my name.
In the time it took you to say all of that, you could have just given your name and then moved on to several other questions.
Who are you, Silence? And what are your intentions?
You really need to make this personal?
I don't think Lance Reddick has ever once played a character who gives a straight answer. The guy can make it sound like he's answering your question while feeling nothing but contempt for you as he talks in metaphors.
Elizabeth told Ted Faro she was headed for a place called U.S. Robot Command to tell people about Zero Dawn.
The place still exists.
I'm sure there'll be another batch of holo recordings there that will fill in the plot with another huge info dump. This is the second time I fought a Deathbringer, and they do not live up to their name. These are the same robots that wiped out every advanced human army and destroyed the biosphere 1,000 years ago, yet Aloy can take them down with a bow. Did they run out of time or budget for this game? That's the only reason I can come up with for why so much of the last act is the same level over and over again.
Commanders, the enemy we're facing self-replicates faster than we can kill it, and it eats biomass as fuel. Zero Dawn is all we've got.
These holo recordings are incredibly convenient for showing things that happened in the past. But just like last time, the recording started after Elizabeth gave the details of Project Zero Dawn to the Joint Chiefs, so we still have no idea what any of them were talking about, even though this recording should have begun when the meeting started.
I've checked my data and located the base. That's the good news.
And the bad?
It's directly underneath the Citadel. The palace at Sunfall.
The capital of the Shadow Karja. Not exactly convenient.
Well, not for you, but for the plot, it's incredibly convenient.
All of them wearing focuses. The moment they see you, Hades will too. He'll issue another kill order, and this time, the entire Shadow Karja military will be after you.
Is there some way to cut the web down?
Crash the network. Audacious. Yes. There is a way.
Even if you crash the focus network, they know what you look like. They could simply have their agents be on the lookout for someone who matches your description.
Entity cannot destroy me. I am beyond its reach.
Hades sounds like an AI version of Dr. Claw, like if Siri was designed by Mad.
This isn't!
There goes AT&T. Aloy survives yet another fall. No idea why the Eclipse guys don't come looking for her down here though. She jumped off a cliff, so we obviously can't chase after the woman our god has declared a major threat. Aloy just destroyed the entire focus network, so how is Silence continuing to contact her through it? The whole point was to stop people from doing exactly that.
You knew Hades was there and you sent me to him?
I won't deny I risked your life, but it was the only way.
The reason for taking down the focus network was so Hades couldn't see Aloy through the focuses of his men and give a kill order when she infiltrated the city. By sending her directly to Hades, you just cut out the middleman and put her in the same danger she would have been in had she gone straight to the Shadow Karja capital.
Guess you can't have everything.
That will draw attention. We won't have this place to ourselves for long now.
Is air coming out of a vent so uncommon that these guys are going to explore a place under their city they didn't even know existed?
What if we could give life a future? What if we could build a kind of seed from which, on a dead planet, life could blossom anew? This is the aim, the hope, of Project Zero Dawn. To create a super intelligent, fully automated terraforming system and bring life back from lifelessness.
As far as sci-fi plots go, I like the idea of terraforming the world to support life again after it was completely destroyed. Of course, I also liked it in Wall-E.
What does such a system require? At its core, it would need a true AI, fully capable of making the trillions of decisions necessary to reconstitute the biosphere. We call it Gaia. Mother Nature as an AI.
We took our inspiration from Captain Planet, even going so far as to model and name her after Gaia from that show.
How Gaia will not just build, but imagine any conceivable robot it needs to do its work across centuries.
Since those dinosaur terraforming robots didn't exist at the time of this recording, I'm assuming you designed them since Gaia hasn't been built yet, even though that would contradict the game telling us that Gaia designed her own terraformers in honor of extinct megafauna. In fact, the game even states that the human engineers did not design any of the robots and were leaving that to Gaia.
The Alpha Registry master file.
Intact?
Yeah. No signs of corruption.
Somehow I doubt that you're knowledgeable enough about file systems to know what this is at a glance. Hell, I know what a file registry is, and I would have to inspect Element to know what it contained.
Still alive. Good. I have a more suitable death in mind for you.
You tried that back at the Proving, and it didn't go so well. You'd be better served by knifing her right now and being done with it.
Those I am bade to kill die. And yet I failed. How? Why?
I think it had something to do with you leaving her on a cliff and ordering your men to light a bomb instead of slitting her throat. But I'm glad you're introspective enough to realize how dumb it was.
One twist. A simple tug of the blade, and you would have bled out. In slaughter, I am a practiced hand. So why hesitate? Why fail my destined purpose?
It's called plot convenience. Don't worry, it happens to every villain.
You were meant to survive that day on the mountain. Meant to interfere at dig sites and kill my men.
Have you read the plot? This is almost fourth wall breaking.
Conversely, I was meant to capture you. Here. so that you might die as a sacrificial offering to the sun.
It's like the devs are trying to explain why it wasn't stupid that Hellas didn't kill Aloy back at the beginning. Did fate also make you place all of Aloy's weapons and armor right over the arena where she can get to them? Aloy managed to get changed into her clothes before the dust clears after the behemoth knocked her weapons down. Corruptors, which can take control of any robot they want, are backed into a corner by 3 saber-tooth robots while Aloy escapes.
Installing that data to a new focus was trivially easy. Happy birthday, Isaac. Daddy sure does love his little big man.
You didn't start watching Aloy's focus until Hades became aware of her, which was at the proving. That line was from when Aloy found her focus and watched a holo recording of a birthday party.
Should you need to return to Shadow Carja territory, I brought armor to conceal your identity.
You had a disguise this entire time that would let Aloy walk around the Citadel unnoticed? Then why did you have her crash the focus network so they wouldn't recognize her? When you hype up entering a locked door with all the answers behind it back at the beginning of the game, you probably should make that place look like the last 2 levels and listen to the same holograms and audio logs.
Elizabeth, this message serves to inform you of an unforeseen and catastrophic anomaly.
You made this message for Aloy, Elizabeth's clone that you created. Since you gave her to the tribe to raise, she would not share Elizabeth's name. Specifically addressing Elizabeth would only add confusion to a very important message.
3 microseconds ago, the Gaia Prime facility received a data transmission of unknown origin. Its immediate effect was to transform my subordinate functions into unregulated, self-aware entities of a highly chaotic nature.
In other words, we are setting things up for the sequel.
Thus awakened, the Hades function will now seize control of the terraforming system and reverse operations, rendering life on Earth extinct in 53.8 days.
Whoever turned Gaia's subordinate functions into self-aware AI didn't plan this through very well, since Hades' only function is to reset the world back to 0 if Gaia's first stab at terraforming doesn't take. Now that he's unregulated, he's trying to destroy the biosphere, even though the planet is perfectly habitable again.
The fate of life on Earth will remain in peril. With no central governing intelligence to regulate the terraforming system, it will continue operations for some time, but in an increasingly chaotic manner, and eventually it will break down.
But isn't the planet already successfully terraformed? Why does terraforming need to continue any further?
My creator. While high-level directives forbid me from communicating directly to the tribal inhabitants outside the facility, all available data indicates that they will nurture you to physical maturity, whereupon your gene print will allow you to re-enter this facility, obtain one of the focus devices stored below, and view this message.
All available data pointed toward that incredibly unlikely scenario, did it? Couldn't you just left her outside the door with a holo recording of this? That's how the rest of the plot was told.
The Alpha Registry at the Cradle facility is one of the files corrupted. But if that is so, the door will never open for you. You will never view this message. Then I have failed. And life will end. No. No, Elizabeth, I know you too well. Somehow you will find a way.
Children are a product of their upbringing and environment. Aloy's childhood couldn't be further from Elizabeth's. Just because Aloy is her clone doesn't mean she would turn out just like Elizabeth did.
Go to the ruins of Gaia Prime. Find the control room, and within it, the Master Override. This will give you the power to purge Hades so long as you find a way to wield it.
But you blew that place up along with yourself to stop Hades. How do you even know the Master Override is still there or intact?
In her message, Gaia said we could restore her, but after seeing the damage, how could that be?
If Gaia is hoping Aloy will one day rebuild her, she should have included instructions on how to do that in her last message. Gaia is expecting a primitive tribeswoman with little understanding of technology to rebuild an artificial intelligence designed to terraform the Earth. I foresee that leading to some bullshit in the sequel. Aloy is damn lucky that all these holo recordings of every significant event still work after 1,000 years of neglect.
I can't stop thinking about the ones who come after us. Those innocents. Those blameless men and women. We're gonna give them knowledge? Like it's a gift? Gift? It's a disease. They're the cure, and we're gonna give them the disease. I did it 3 minutes ago. I've purged Apollo. It's gone. All of it. Every cop.
The reason humanity has no idea of their history and live as primitives is because Ted Faro, the guy who accidentally created the Faro robots and then funded Project Zero Dawn, lost his mind and deleted Apollo, the repository of human knowledge, because he believed it to be a virus that would infect the next generation of humans. However, all the new humans still ended up repeating human history by killing each other and being giant dicks. Not sure where he got the idea that was a learned trait.
But sometimes, to protect innocents, innocents have to die.
Emergency alert.
If you were planning to kill the Alphas anyway, why tell them about deleting Apollo right before you do that? It's not like they had to know why they were dying. Apparently all technology in the future applies the same design principle as modern gaming computers. Add tons of LEDs to make it look all cool and powerful.
The truth is, I was there at the beginning. I found Hades, Aloy, buried on that mountain, trapped in that shattered titan. And I served it.
Why are you telling me this now?
Because your success depends on knowing this.
And it didn't before?
When I found Hades, the first thing it wanted to know about was the Spire. Not Meridian. The Spire. Now why would that be?
The Spire was created by Gaia.
Which part of Gaia?
Minerva. It's code-breaking module. Gaia built spires to transmit the codes that deactivated the Pharaoh robots, shut down their biomatter conversion systems. Hades wants to send a new transmission. To wake the machines, so they can devour the world all over again.
The finale of Horizon Zero Dawn is about stopping an artificial intelligence that's using an army of zealots convinced that it's a god from invading a city that hosts a signal beacon that can wake up millions of robots that will sweep the planet clean of all life. No wait, sorry. I was describing the finale of Mass Effect. The finale of Horizon Zero Dawn is about stopping an artificial intelligence that's using an army of zealots convinced that it's a god from invading a city that hosts a signal beacon that can wake up millions of robots that will sweep the planet clean of all life.
Silence? Are you there? Guess I shouldn't ask ghosts for advice.
Well, that and you aren't wearing your focus, so Silence couldn't hear you even if he was still in contact. Somehow Hellas is already inside the Sun Palace even though this place has been preparing for war all night. You would think that after Duval snuck in the same way, they would have tightened security.
Chosen. This was not meant to be.
Are you still on about that? You were so sure that Destiny was on your side after Aloy was captured that you would think her escaping again would have shaken your faith at least a little. Hades, who really wants Aloy dead, doesn't command one of his robots to finish her off while she's down. You would think that an artificial intelligence would at least learn from Helis' mistakes. I'm afraid radio waves are invisible to the human eye, game. Is that really how the Spire works? It sends out a few whatever those are at a time to wake up Pharaoh robots? If that's the case, it's going to take a long time to wake up enough robots to eat the planet's biosphere again. This is just a thought, but wouldn't it have been a good idea to destroy the Spire the night before the attack since you knew that was the target?
I have to face Hades.
Not alone.
My fight. I can't ask you to come with me.
Sure you can. If you die, they and the rest of the world are dead anyways. No reason to act all noble now when everything is on the line.
Arrival of entity has been anticipated.
Well, I would hope you anticipated it, seeing as you were dragged right past her on the way here. Deathbringers are so easy to beat that in order to make this one a challenge, they throw in some other robots halfway through the fight. Getting electrocuted lets you see into the digital world cliche. This will be stupid no matter how many times I see it.
Master override armed. To activate state name and rank.
Elizabeth Sobek.
Wait, so that's how the Master Override is designed to work? By stabbing it into something, electrocuting the user, and then requiring voice activation inside the user's mind? Not only did Elizabeth Sobek's body remain here at her family's home for over 1,000 years, she kept a keepsake in her hand the entire time. Somehow Hades is still alive, even after being purged by the Master Override, which was supposed to destroy him. If he's still alive right here next to the Spire and no one knows, why doesn't he activate it again instead of flying off?
Hello, old friend. Remember me?
Sequel baiting. I mean, come on. You knew Lance Reddick was going to be a bad guy.
Of the Valley of the Wind.
Hello everyone, and thanks for watching. Be sure to vote in the comments for which game you want to see Sin next. And after you do that, be sure to join my Discord chat server where you can talk with me and other fans every day. And if you want to be part of the Game Sin process, be sure to follow me on Twitch TV where I live stream games I'm going to Sin. You can find links to both down below. Later everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.